Hey everybody, it's Sully Man. So we're going to continue on with our OG Abel design breakdown, and this is going to be kind of sectioned off into little pieces. I'm going to work on this little kind of flourishy, filigree line art scroll work. Move on to the circles, kind of sunburst cookie emblem, whatever you want to call it, and then the frame in the background. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm using the pen tool, and I'm just kind of tracing the lines. Once I have the path laid down, I use the width tool to add line weights. It might be a thick taper like that one there, or they might be a thin, non-existent point type taper, like the one encompassing that little lion crown emblem. And I use two techniques when I'm doing this. So you have the pen tool technique where you just kind of trace out with the pen tool. It's super accurate, and then go in with the width tool to add the line weights. And then I also use, which you'll see here shortly, is the pencil tool. And the pencil tool I use manually with my graphics tablet. You can use like a Wacom tablet, or there's quite a few out there. So you'll see here I draw the line manually, and then if I'm not happy 100%, I can hold down Alt while using the pencil tool, and it will then reveal the smooth tool. So if you draw a path, you don't like the shape, like right there, I hold down Alt and redraw the line, and it'll try to auto-correct for you. Or not auto-correct, but use the new line that you've drawn with the smooth tool to help correct the previous line. Once I have that down, I can either use the stroke profiles, which are just presets for the line weight, or go in with the width tool and add the line weights myself. So the pencil tool is for quick strokes that I know I can be pretty confident with. I'm not trying to be too accurate. And then the pen tool when I want to be really accurate and make sure everything is exactly where I need it to be. Those are the two techniques. So once I've got this bottom corner finished, I move on to the top. You'll notice the video is moving at a higher speed than the actual speed, because it was about, I don't know, anywhere between 30 minutes and 45 minutes, and I figured I'd spare you guys the agony of watching me go anchor by anchor. So but you'll also notice that certain sections get really fast, and it's the redundant stuff like that one there. It's basically a copy of the bottom. So now I move on to the circle, and basically what I'm doing here is I'm using guides to find the top vertical and horizontal points. The intersection is the center of the circle. I then create circles with the stroke weights that I want, and it's just basically duplicating. Then I move on to adding the text, which is basically copy a path, remove the appearance, use the type on path tool, which I type on the path, and then using the character panel, drop the baseline, and use the direct select tool to move the start and finishing anchors like you see me adjusting here, make sure the text is centered, and then I can add some width, kern it, drop the baseline, whatever I need to do. I then move on to the actual sunburst, and basically it's just a path with the stroke appearance. I taper one end completely gone, and then I expand the other. And then basically what I do is here I take 360, divide it by the amount of sunburst that I want, and I use the copy method, and then Control D to keep copying. So once I've used the rotation tool basically to activate that dialog box on the rotation tool, have the rotation tool active, then Alt click the anchor point or anchor spot that you want the rotation to happen. The dialog box will pop up, and then you can go ahead and manually enter in the degrees that you'd like to rotate, and then specify if you'd like to copy. And if you copy, once you have the copy, make sure to hit Control D to duplicate that same movement until you get the rotation completed. I basically do that again and resize it to create the large and small sunbursts. Now here basically there was a line in the center that went through the text, but when it got to the text it cut out. So basically I go in with a mask like you can see here, and that's in previous videos if you need to learn about the mask. Once I have that, I'm done with the circle. From there I move on to the frame in the background, and that's kind of sectioned off to the verticals and horizontals. So I start with the top horizontal, which is basically a rectangle with rounded corners with a dashed line in the center. So you kind of tweak those. I'm sure you can kind of go in and experiment. And then on the ends, it's just a stroke with a taper at one end. And once that's complete, I basically go in like we did at the beginning and use the pen tool or pencil tool to create these, these kind of filigree flourish designs, add the line weights, and once I have that complete, I essentially duplicate it, drag it to the bottom, rotate, and then that portion's done. You can see, flip it, go ahead, drop it in the bottom, align. I'm sure it's not exactly like the other artwork, but it's close enough. And this is for educational purposes, so I'm not trying to be spot on. So here what I'm doing is creating a pattern. Now I do that with 3 of the same shape, use a square to then divide out, cut out the sections I don't need. Once I have it, I can drag and drop it into the brush panel, set it as a pattern, make sure all my settings are exactly the way I want them, and knock it in. And then I can use the stroke weight to specify. Now I already had another one created so I can save myself time with all the extra lines and stuff. That's something you can do. I just wanted to show you quickly how to create patterns. I will get into that pattern making in a future video. So then I just kind of finish off these little sections here. Basically just copy that side, rotate and flip and get it into position. I finish off with this line that had kind of a spearhead tip to it, so I dropped the line in. There was also a dashed line next to it as well. Dashed or dotted. You'll probably hear me call them both, but anyway, so on the stroke that's completely filled, not dashed, kind of struggling there, I basically am going in to create the spearhead. So it's just some simple rudimentary shapes. Duplicate, rotate, and merge together, and you'll get that kind of shape. Move that into place, and then the final touch is basically going in and masking out areas that are overlapping and cutting out from each other. So you'll see me kind of start to move in there, and sometimes what I do is basically use the artwork that's there. Oh, actually I forgot, I'm not into the masking yet. I'm actually, the background has kind of a lined halftone. This one, the original, it was just a non-dash line. I went ahead and added a dash line just for fun. So just kind of get that to the point that you like it visually. I drag that into place, and then I use the masking with this as well. So it's in place, and then what I do is create the shapes that I want the mask to be visible in. So you'll see that they're white. So basically, once I have them created, I cut them and then go back to the halftone, select it, make mask, and then paste those in place inside the mask, and it will reveal that specific area. Once I have that done, I basically kind of move into doing the final touches of masking out the areas of overlap, like the scroll kind of filigree stuff is actually overlapping that circle, sunburst, cookie, emblem, whatever you want to call it. So I make those final touches, and that's pretty much it. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Part 3 is going to be up next. So, stay tuned for that, and remember to submit any designs you'd like to see me break down to pixelmoshpit@gmail.com. Thanks again for watching. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in part 3. Thanks. Sometimes you'll want to be urged to, like on this style, just use a